Roger Sherman. Roger Sherman, April 19, 1721, July 23, 1793, was an early American statesman and lawyer, as well as a founding father of the United States. He is the only person to have signed all four great state papers of the United States: the Continental Association, the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, and the Constitution. Born in Newton, Massachusetts, Sherman established a legal career in Litchfield County, Connecticut, despite a lack of formal education. After a period in the Connecticut House of Representatives, he served as a justice of the Superior Court of Connecticut from 1766 to 1789. He represented Connecticut at the Continental Congress and signed the Continental Association, which provided for a boycott against Britain following the imposition of the Intolerable Acts. He was also a member of the Committee of Five that drafted the Declaration of Independence. He later signed both the Articles of Confederation and the United States Constitution. In 1784, he was elected as the first mayor of Albany, New York. Sherman served as a delegate to the 1787 Philadelphia Convention, which produced the United States Constitution. After Benjamin Franklin, he was the oldest delegate present at the convention. He favored granting the federal government power to raise revenue and regulate commerce, but initially opposed efforts to supplant the Articles of Confederation with a new constitution. He ultimately came to support the establishment of a new constitution and proposed the Connecticut Compromise, which won the approval of both the larger states and the smaller states. After the ratification of the Constitution, Sherman represented Connecticut in the United States House of Representatives from 1789 to 1791. He served in the United States Senate from 1791 to his death in 1793. Early life. Sherman was born into a family of farmers in Newton, Massachusetts, near Boston. His father was William and mother Mehetable Sherman. The Shermans left Newton and settled in what became the town of Stoughton, 17 miles 27 km south of Boston, when Roger was 2. Sherman's education did not extend beyond his father's library and grammar school, and his early career was spent as a shoemaker. However, he had an aptitude for learning, access to a good library owned by his father, and a Harvard-educated parish minister, Reverend Samuel Dunbar, who took him under his wing. In 1743, his father's death made Sherman move with his mother and siblings to New Milford, Connecticut, where, in partnership with his brother William, he opened the town's first store. He very quickly introduced himself in civil and religious affairs, rapidly becoming one of the town's leading citizens and eventually town clerk of New Milford. Due to his mathematical skill, he became county surveyor of New Haven County in 1745 and began providing astronomical calculations for almanacs in 1759. Marriages and family. Roger Sherman was married 2 times and had a total of 15 children, with 13 reaching adulthood. Sherman married Elizabeth Hartwell, born August 31, 1726 in Stoughton, Massachusetts, on November 17, 1749. Elizabeth died on October 19, 1760. Sherman married Rebecca, also spelled Rebecca Prescott, born on May 20, 1742, in Danvers, Massachusetts, on May 12, 1763, and had 8 children: Rebecca, Elizabeth, Roger, Mehetable first, Mehetable second, Oliver, Martha, and Sarah. Legal, political career, Sherman is especially notable in United States history for being the only person to sign all 4 great state papers of the United States: the Articles of Association, the United States Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, and the United States Constitution. Robert Morris, who did not sign the Articles of Association, signed the other 3. John Dickinson also signed 3, the Continental Association, The Articles of Confederation and the United States Constitution. He was involved with the Declaration of Independence but abstained, hoping for a reconciliation with Britain. Despite the fact that Sherman had no formal legal training, he was urged to read for the bar exam by a local lawyer and was admitted to the bar of Litchfield, Connecticut in 1754, during which he wrote a caveat against injustice and was chosen to represent New Milford in the Connecticut House of Representatives from 1755 to 1758. Sherman was appointed Justice of the Peace in 1762 and Judge of the Court of Common Pleas in 1765. During 1766, Sherman was first elected to the Governor's Council of the Connecticut General Assembly, where he served until 1785. Sherman served as Justice of the Superior Court of Connecticut from 1766 to 1789, when he left to become a member of the United States Congress. Sherman was also appointed treasurer of Yale College and awarded an honorary Master of Arts degree. He was a professor of religion for many years and engaged in lengthy correspondences with some of the theologians of the time. During February 1776, Sherman, George Wythe, and John Adams were members of a committee responsible for establishing guidelines for U.S. Embassy officials in Canada, with the committee instructions that included, "You are to declare that we hold sacred the rights of conscience, and may promise to the whole people, solemnly in our name, the free and undisturbed." In 1784, he was elected mayor of New Haven, which office he held until his death. In 1790, both Sherman and Richard Law were appointed to revise the confused and archaic Connecticut statutes, which they accomplished. Throughout his life, Sherman was a major benefactor of Yale College, acting as the university's treasurer for many years and promoting construction of a college chapel. Roger Sherman died in 1793. Constitutional Convention. Quotation. In a letter to Oliver Wolcott, May 21, 1777, he wrote, "I think it dangerous to admit citizens not connected to the army to be tried by a court-martial." Death and burial site. Sherman died in his sleep on July 23, 1793, after a 2-month illness diagnosed as typhoid fever. The Gazette of the United States, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, August 17, 1793, p. 508, reported an alternate diagnosis. He was taken ill about the middle of May last, and from that time declined till his death. He was buried in New Haven Green. In 1821, when that cemetery was relocated, his remains were moved to the Grove Street Cemetery. Legacy. The town of Sherman, Connecticut was named for Roger Sherman,